Well, I guess I'm a product of all my life experiences. Like many people, I've had a lot of challenges in my life, and it's how you respond to those challenges that makes the difference. I was at Wellington. I did stand front line. I got injured by the police. I then saw the level of corruption that exists within the police. I work as a healer full time. I help people discover things about themselves. So I help people get well. I'm passionate about people. I'm passionate about empowering people. I'm not interested at all in being a politician. I'm not seeking power, but I am recognizing something is seriously wrong with our world, and that we as a people in New Zealand, we've been quite apathetic. We've had that Kiwi attitude, she'll be right. And now we've got the rude awakening over the last 3 years of things seriously aren't right. And so I feel very passionately that I want to be a part of the solution, not part of the problem, and empower people to take responsibility for themselves in their own lives and affect their communities rather than have all this power go to Wellington. I believe it's a network of people. I believe that the spirit of New Zealand is rising, just as it did at Wellington. It's rising through the different people. I absolutely love the candidates that I've met so far. They're all strong, honest, down-to-earth, hardworking Kiwis that recognise, like me, that something is seriously wrong. We're a group of people that are loving working together, loving bringing about the changes that this country needs to see. The only wasted vote is when you either don't vote or when you vote for somebody that doesn't align with your principles and what you want to see. You can be assured that at New Zealand Loyal, we have the drive, we have the enthusiasm, we have the level of truthfulness, honesty. We will do you proud. You can safely vote for us. I envision that we will have inspired so many grassroots Kiwis to step forward and have their voice heard. We've been living in a culture where we haven't been consulted. Rules have been driven through as laws when they're not really, they're more corporate policy than laws. They've been driven through roughshod over us, the abortion bill, the Therapeutics Goods Act, the Three Waters. People haven't been listened to. And I think that's just the wake-up call that many Kiwis have needed so that they do become more active in their communities. So I would like to see power divested back to the people, community meetings, town hall meetings, people really stepping up. I've got a vision that when somebody in our community isn't contributing, like all the people that say are on benefits that are not contributing, the self-esteem goes down, their health suffers, their relationship suffers, they're definitely suffering financially. I'd love to see them re-inspired, their passion reignited, them finding something that they can do, a way that they can contribute. You see, when just one person is not included in our society, it leaves a dark hole that the rest of us have to work hard to fill, whether that's emotionally or financially or on a very day-to-day level. And I think we could all work together better. And that's what I see New Zealand Loyalists doing for the people. I would love to see science being done across the board, not just into pharmaceutical drugs. At the moment, all the funding goes into pharmaceutical drugs, things they can patent. There are so many things that can aid health, and it would be lovely for our medical professionals to be able to choose from a wide range of things, from healing, the Maori medicine, Rongoa, homeopathics, frequency devices like Rife machines and Healys. There are so many different ways that we can help people if our medical professionals have the training and can learn the true science. We've had the wool pulled over our eyes for so long with health. Doctors at the moment, they can only really prescribe either pharmaceutical drugs, which nearly always have side effects, or surgery. That's not what health is about. That's more medicine. But even within medicines, there are many other things that we could suggest. We've got Bach flower remedies, Australian bush remedies. There should be more choice, not less. Yeah, absolutely. I've been working as a healer for 29 years, and I find that what we need to do is create an environment in which the body heals itself. And that's what your body's designed to do. We know this because, say, when we cut our arm, instinctively, the red blood cells travel to the area to start forming a scab. The white blood cells are dealing with any kind of infection that's in there. The body is designed to heal itself. And modern medicine really has separated all the different bits of the body. You've got nephrologists that specialize with kidneys. You've got oncologists that specialize with cancer. We've got to understand that we're part of a whole. And also, my health is determined by the environment that I'm in. If I'm struggling paying my bills, that's going to have knock-on effects on my immune system and so my health. If my relationship is not working out very well, that also affects me. If my mental health's not so good, it's going to affect maybe the food choices I'm making and whether or not I'm exercising. We need a health service that is more holistic. And yes, over the years, I've seen people where their cancer has disappeared when the environment is right. And it's usually been a combination of things. Some of those people have had what we think of as a more conventional medicine, like a chemotherapy or a radiotherapy. And some of them haven't. Some of them have followed a natural path. They've taken vitamins and minerals. They've given up their job. They've started meditating, relaxing, doing yoga. We should have the choice, and we should have a world where people have got access to all those choices. At the moment, we've got a world where only certain things are funded and others aren't. And that doesn't make any sense to me. Homeopathy used to be a big part of medicine in the UK. And then in recent years, it's been taken out of the National Health Service. And I think that was a real travesty. Yeah, absolutely. It's well known that that's their first course. That's the first place they go to. And yet within the National Health Service, they've eradicated it. So it was okay for the royal family, but not for everybody else. All of it, really, it all needs to go. Anything could be considered now a therapeutic good. Vitamin C. We all know that, history has taught us vitamin C was good for scurvy. Well, we now can't recommend people take vitamin C. Everything's going to be regulated. It's just going to add to the cost of everything. We will find as well that some products we're no longer able to have access to, because the cost of meeting that legislation will just be so prohibitive that only the big boys, i.e. Big Pharma, will be able to compete. And so I've got a real concern that a lot of the things that we do have access to at the moment simply won't be available. For me, it's a no-brainer. We get rid of it. We repeal it immediately. And I think that will be very well received by the people of New Zealand. All of them, every single one I've seen, but specifically, I really do like the policy on education, because for so long, so many people in our community have not been served by the educational system. The word education comes from a Greek base, which is edukos, which means to draw out from within. And we need to be accessing the individual's potential. And I think with the policy of education and re-education, we're really going to help everybody find their potential. And I'm very, very fortunate as a healer in that most of my working life, for 29 years, I've done what my heart has guided. And I've been really instrumental doing what God put me on this earth to do. And wouldn't it be wonderful if all our young ones from a young age were helping them find what are their skills, what are their talents, not just processing them like chickens in a factory farm. You will learn this, you will study this, because that just sets them up for failure. And that has impact for their health, their mental health. Some resort to drugs, some become suicidal, some overeat, binging on foods. There's a big place for education as well, in educating the children about these bodies, how they can look after these bodies better. You know, when my kids were going to school for the small part of time that they attended conventional school, a lot of the physical education was removed and more academic stuff was put in. We want healthy children that are finding what they're passionate about and growing in confidence, not destroying it. We have a groundswell of people that are just so excited. I can say that I haven't had a single person come to me and object or complain about any of our policies. Quite the opposite. People are saying, this is my wish list. You are doing just what I want and I will vote for you. And I know that in New Zealand, we've got something like 1.2 million people who haven't voted traditionally. And I'm sure that our policies are going to bring them out of the woodwork, because now, for the first time in New Zealand history that I'm aware of, there is real choice. We have got a party of people who are not politicians. We are real Kiwi people that are stepping up because we know something is seriously wrong in New Zealand. And a lot of people out there have got that same feeling. Something is wrong. They don't know what to do about it. How can I make a difference? I'm just one person. We are giving them a way forward. We are saying, come join us, be a member, help us spread the word. Look at this 1% tax, 1% financial transactions tax. That is going to transform families' lives, and in particular young families that are struggling to buy their first home, young families where they've both got to work and they've got to send their kids off into daycare. That to me is criminal. We are giving them the choice of mum or dad to stay home with the kids, and our community is going to thank us for that forever, because, you know, who doesn't want that? Yep, my financial background, before realizing that I was here as a healer, I was a bank manager for Lloyds Bank. So I left school at 16. I was scared of going to university because I'd heard all kinds of stories about university. And so, having left school, I got a job working for a bank, and I found very, very quickly that I wasn't going to get ahead just working for a bank. So I started studying. I studied for 13 years after leaving school. And whilst working, never taking a benefit, I got myself 2 degrees in banking and marketing. Now, that then got me noticed within the bank, and that got me onto their management program. And so I was a bank manager at 29. And that information, that knowledge, that training stands me in good stead. I can look at the financial tax suggestion of 1% and I can say, hand on heart, this will work. But we need you to let other people know about this 1% financial transaction tax, because if Kiwis don't know about it, and yes, it's going to get poo-pooed by mainstream media, but if you look at what the Treasury say about how much money goes through New Zealand in financial transactions every year, you will find that just 1% of that is enough to replace all those different taxes. And the beautiful thing is this, it's simpler. We don't need complex IRD. It can be collected easily because it can be collected through the banks and places like Visa. It's going to be fairer because at the moment what happens is we, the workers, bear the brunt of the tax through the PAYE system. The very wealthy people and the very wealthy corporations have top-notch accountants that either move their monies offshore so they pay less tax, or spend big at the end of the tax year so that they've not got a tax liability. Whereas you and me and the small businesses, we suffer. There's also going to be an incentive for small businesses in their competitive ability against the multinationals. The multinationals can move money around countries. Whereas here in New Zealand, the small businesses can't do that. So they're always at a competitive disadvantage. This is really going to help small businesses in New Zealand. We lost over 20,000 small businesses through the COVID legislation, not through COVID, but through the decisions that the Green and Labour government made. We've got a chance now to regenerate small business, putting more money in the pockets of New Zealanders and removing the tax for the companies as well. So they can start investing. They can start investing in IT. They can take on more staff. This is the number one way we can boost our economy, and everyone benefits. The only people that won't benefit from that 1% financial transaction tax are the wealthy people, be it individuals or corporations, that are doing lots of transactions every day, buying currency, buying stocks and shares, buying bonds, moving in and out of markets, gambling effectively. They're going to suffer most, and I see no harm in doing that. And so New Zealand will become a tax haven for individuals and companies, and this will also boost our economy. It's a no-brainer. Once people get their heads around it, once they realise that this is possible, it's going to attract a lot of people to New Zealand loyal. The biggest way that you can help is to talk to other people about New Zealand Loyal and just ask this question, have you heard about the 1% tax? And see what response you get. It'll be a yes, a no, or maybe. If you get some kind of pushback from that, just ask the question, how would it be for you if instead of paying income tax and GST, you got to keep all your hard-earned money? How would life be for you? Get them thinking about that. That's the number one thing we can do, because we've got lots of support on a grassroots level for the billboards and the posters. Now it's about talking to people. We need to talk to people. How would your life change if you got to keep all but 1% of your wages each week? We've already got a small army, so in my area we are good, but in other areas of New Zealand we still need support. So please, yes, help us spread the word, because this can change everybody's lives. If you love people like I love people, it's time that we work together for our mutual benefit and take out of power those people that didn't listen to the people at Wellington. I have to say that when I stood at Wellington, I was stood alongside brothers and sisters, none of whom I knew, but there was a feeling there that was just incredible. And we were all peaceful people. In the main, we were older people. In the main, we were women. And we got the courage from each other. And some people say, you know, you were incredibly brave. But the thing was this, I consider that to be brave, you've got to feel fear. And I didn't feel fear because I never expected the New Zealand police to turn on the people in the way that they did. It never entered my head that they would do that. And I don't think of myself as a naive person. But on the day that 90 of us got injured, 30 seriously, it was only day 3 of the protest. The police were not in riot gear. We were lawfully, legally protesting the mandates. It never entered my head that the police would do what they did, that somebody would give the order and the police would attack the people. And even when it happened, I felt assured, well, the media will report it. And then they didn't. And then I felt assured, well, now the IPCA, the Independent Police Conduct Authority, will get to the truth and people will be held accountable. And they didn't. And the police didn't authentically and truthfully investigate their own. And so then the realization was, well, it's left to the people. It's left to the people. But there are enough of us, and we are awake, and we are of good heart and goodwill. And we know that we can't do it by ourselves. We have to do it together. And so we need you. And remember, you know, those old pictures with the man pointing the finger, your country needs you. New Zealand does need you, for sure, for real. And we've all got our part to play in spreading the word about New Zealand oil, because we are not politicians. We are grassroots, regular, everyday Kiwis that will reclaim the power for you. And so a vote for New Zealand Loyal is a vote for you. It's you putting yourself back in power. A vote for anybody else is keeping them in power. So vote for New Zealand Loyal.